How George Westinghouse settled his wildest legal disputes. What do you get when you mix a restless boy, a steam engine, a warhorse, and a courtroom full of electrical geniuses? You get George Westinghouse, the man who couldn't sit still, wouldn't back down, and absolutely refused to let Thomas Edison win without a fight. How did a teenage dropout with a wrench in one hand and a dream in the other go on to electrify the world, revolutionize railroads, and sue half the industrial age into submission? Why did Edison electrocute animals in public just to prove Westinghouse's inventions were dangerous? What made Westinghouse say, "Let the courts decide, Tom. I'll bring the science, you bring the circus"? And how did a love-struck engineer turn his dining room into a blueprint battlefield, while his elegant wife kept the tea warm and the fire extinguisher closer? From the boy who built engines in his father's barn to the titan who took on General Electric with Tesla's patents in his pocket, this is the untold story of grit, genius, and glorious litigation. George Westinghouse Jr. was born on October 6, 1846, in Central Bridge, New York, to Emmeline Vetter and George Sr., a man so stern he made granite look like pudding. The Westinghouses hailed from Westphalia, Germany, and their original name, Westinghausen, sounded like a place where your luggage disappears and your passport cries for help. From the moment George Jr. could hold a wrench, he was dismantling clocks, reassembling plows, and asking questions like, "Why does steam hiss like it's angry?" School, however, was a prison of chalk and Latin. Latin made him twitch, literally. He once muttered, "Why study a dead language when I can build something that moves?" His teachers despaired. One wrote in a report, "George is a big, clumsy boy with the temper of a steam engine and the attention span of a squirrel on espresso." Another added, "He's brilliant, but he keeps trying to fix the classroom door mid-lecture." His father, George Sr., ran a machine shop and believed in hard work, sweat, and the sanctity of manual labor. When young George built wooden models of steam engines, his father smashed them. "You'll invent a machine to avoid work," he growled. George replied, "Isn't that the point?" At 14, George quit school and joined his father's shop for 50 cents a day. He learned to file metal, hammer bolts, and curse in 3 languages. But his mind was elsewhere, dreaming of machines that could do the work of 10 men. His father, unimpressed, said, "You'll either be a genius or bankrupt by 30. By 17, the Civil War was raging, and George enlisted in the Union Army. He chose the cavalry because he thought riding was easier than walking. "I'll let the horse do the work," he reasoned. But reality is a bit hard. He had to groom, feed, and care for the beast. "I signed up to ride, not babysit a beast," he grumbled. After a stint in the Navy, he returned home in 1865, honorably discharged and ready to invent. In 1867, George married Marguerite Erskine Walker, a woman so refined she made lace look rugged. She came from a well-to-do family and had the patience of a saint, especially when George turned the dining room into a blueprint battlefield. She once found a half-built steam engine in the bathtub and calmly asked, "George, is this your idea of plumbing?" They had one son, who wisely chose not to follow his father into the litigation-heavy world of invention. Why? Because dinner conversations involved phrases like patent infringement, rotary valve, and Edison's latest nonsense. The boy preferred poetry. Marguerite once said, "George is brilliant, but he's like a locomotive without brakes, always moving, never stopping, and occasionally crashing into dinner." She loved him fiercely, but kept a fire extinguisher near the drawing room. In 1869, George patented the air brake, a device that used compressed air to stop trains safely. Before this, brakemen had to leap between cars like suicidal squirrels. His invention saved lives and revolutionized railroads. He founded the Westinghouse Air Brake Company that same year, and later Union Switch and Signal in 1881. His inventions poured forth like champagne at a Gilded Age gala, 361 patents in total. He standardized equipment, pioneered natural gas piping, and turned Pittsburgh into an industrial symphony. But with great patents came great lawsuits. George defended his patents like a knight guarding Excalibur. He sued railroad companies for using knockoff brakes. He battled Edison over AC versus DC electricity. He clashed with General Electric over transformers. His courtroom tactics were legendary. One judge said, "Mr. Westinghouse, you argue like an engineer and duel like a lawyer." George replied, "That's because I build machines that don't break, and arguments that don't lose." The War of the Currents, it was the Gilded Age, and America was ready to be electrified. But how? Two systems emerged. Direct current, DC, championed by Thomas Edison, flowed in one direction like a stubborn mule. Alternating current, AC, backed by George Westinghouse and powered by Nikola Tesla's genius, oscillated like a caffeinated squirrel. Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park, saw AC as a threat to his empire. So he launched a smear campaign so theatrical it could have won a Tony Award. He hired Harold P. Brown to publicly electrocute dogs, cabs, and even an elephant named Topsy to prove AC was deadly too. Then came the electric chair. Edison, once opposed to capital punishment, recommended AC for executions. In 1890, convicted murderer William Kemmler became the first person to die by electrocution, powered by a Westinghouse AC generator. Westinghouse was livid. "Let the courts decide, Tom," he snapped. "I'll bring the science, you bring the circus." Westinghouse sued for defamation and patent infringement. The court sided with him. AC powered the 1893 Chicago World's Fair and the Niagara Falls plant. Edison's DC faded like a candle in a hurricane. The transformer tussle. Thomson-Houston, a rival firm later absorbed into General Electric, accused Westinghouse of infringing on transformer patents. It was less a war and more a chess match, quiet, strategic, and expensive. Thomson-Houston tried to block Westinghouse's expansion, filing lawsuits like confetti. Engineers were pulled from labs to testify. Westinghouse countered with his own patent arsenal. Eventually, they settled through litigation and cross-licensing. But Westinghouse later sighed, "We spent more on lawyers than on engineers." It was a cold war of patents, fought in silence and settled in exhaustion. The brakes of justice. Before Westinghouse's air brake, trains were stopped by brakemen leaping between cars like suicidal squirrels. His invention used compressed air. Simple, elegant, life-saving. But railroads, ever frugal, used knockoff versions. Westinghouse sued relentlessly. "If they want to steal my brake," he growled, "they'll have to stop in court first." He won most cases, secured royalties, and became the king of rail safety. His brake was adopted nationwide, and brakemen rejoiced. One wrote, "Mr. Westinghouse saved my legs and my life." The generator grudge match. By the 1900s, General Electric, GE, formed from Edison's companies, tried to monopolize the electrical market. They targeted Westinghouse's generators and transformers, claiming patent infringement. Westinghouse, armed with Tesla's patents, fought back. The courtroom became a battlefield of blueprints and voltage diagrams, but he underestimated GE's financial muscle. While he was an inventor at heart, GE was a corporate juggernaut. The litigation ended in settlements, but the toll was heavy. "I built machines to move the world," he lamented, "not to feed lawyers." Picture this, a mediation room in 1890. Velvet chairs, chamomile tea, a mediator named Beatrice with a voice like warm honey. "Beatrice, gentlemen, let's find peace." Edison, "He's a madman with a death current." Westinghouse, "He's a showman with a battery fetish." Tesla, "Can we discuss the harmonic resonance of the ether?" Beatrice, "How about a joint venture?" "Fine, but I want naming rights." Westinghouse, "Only if you stop frying cats." Had mediation prevailed, the electric industry might have unified sooner. But where's the drama in that? George Westinghouse received the John Fritz Medal in 1906 and the Edison Medal in 1911. Ironic, yes. He founded over 60 companies and held 360 patents. But the panic of 1907 hit hard. He lost control of Westinghouse Electric. His health declined. He died in 1914, buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Tesla mourned. He was the only man who truly understood the power of invention. Character: generous, stubborn, visionary. Weakness: poor financial management. Addictions: invention. "Sleep is for those without ideas," he once said. Failures: lost his company, underestimated rivals. Controversies: patent wars, aggressive litigation. Regrets: I should have hired more accountants and fewer law hacks. If you love stories that blend invention, rivalry, and courtroom drama, make sure to hit that follow button. Subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a drop of our electrifying tales. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Next up, Mike Tyson.